Ganesh, let me pull this back to the client outlook though, because I remember we spoke, I think, around your earnings where you made the point that some clients for Satyam have raised concerns. You've been approached as a company on whether or not some of the business can be shifted to you. How long does the trough and peak cycle work, Ganesh, in terms of losing clientele and then bringing them back into your fold and stabilizing them, more importantly?
See, Vitali, what needed to happen has already happened. I mean, there were quite a few small clients who have definitely shifted to a different vendor or a different provider. And at this point of time, I think what they have is some excellent clients who are rock solid, who have stood by the company. And these guys are certainly not, at this point of time, looking for other partners. So I think they'll be happy. And of course, they'll watch the actions of new management very, very carefully. That's why there should be no knee-jerk reaction at all. But clients who have waited so long are not going to shift. And obviously, as we've discussed many times before on your channel, shifting mission-critical application support from one provider to the other is a complicated process. And people who waited know that it's a complicated process. They're not going to rock the boat. And I think they will show enough confidence in the company and give them 3-4 months to show that, look, nothing is going to go wrong from here.
You know, then I remember when the whole episode unfolded 3 months back and we were talking about it and we were on television at that point as well. It finally boiled down to what happened with the employees. You know, suddenly you wake up one morning and you may not have your job. In that sense as well, this is a rather large achievement. I mean, there may be rationalization of an employee base, but you've got on a credible face, you've got on someone who understands the business. That as well, I think, is quite an achievement.
That is the big achievement, Vitali. But, you know, that's what the board set out to do, that they should not send a terrible message to the West that here was a large $2 billion company which, because of a fraud, disintegrated completely, putting a lot of its very esteemed clients who bank on Indian IT in a big way to a huge amount of distress. Imagine what the distress for a large client who does a couple of $100 million of business with Satyam suddenly over a period of 1 year or 2 years found out that his client went bust and could not service him, or his outsourcer business partner went bust and disintegrated because of a fraud. That, I think, would have shaken the foundation on Indian outsourcing or to Indian outsourcing in a very big way. That the board had to stop. That was job number 1. Job number 2 was to ensure that a business, which was a good business, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a $2 billion business. So what if its promoter was a scamster? That business did not collapse, leading to such a lot of stress to the industry. You know, this industry cannot soak up 50,000 employees right now. Let's be realistic about it. So it would have caused a big ripple effect in an industry where already jobs are getting slightly tight, and you already hear the first murmurs of some degree of marginal retrenchment even from the larger companies. So you wanted to cushion the system from a big shock, both from a domestic perspective and from a Western perception perspective. And I think the board managed to do both. If shareholders of Satyam who bought at 20 and 25 rupees got something out of it in being able to flip in an open offer at 58 rupees, they should consider themselves very lucky. And that is actually a